you have so many interesting thoughts, and I think really poignant thoughts of sort of, if you want to deem it the algorithm era of music that we're currently in right now. And I'm curious, to what severity do you think that's truly harming art in its truest sense?
I think it's the artists are going to determine how much that does or doesn't harm. It's up to us. There's always going to be a factor, right? Like there was a version of it in the 50s, there was a version in the 80s when I was coming up. People were first figuring out like mp3.com and whatnot, and there was its own algorithm to that. Like it's not inherently bad, it's how you use it. It's like dynamite or something, it's how you use it. So if you I think it's the job of artists to not let those things come into the conversation when they're creating. If because some herb told you that songs with shorter intros do better on streaming, I'm sure that's true, but you can't let that be part of your conversation in your head. I had a perfect example I put out a song called Chinatown, and some herbs were like, song's great, blah, 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 but songs with fade outs don't do well on playlists. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, because it ends the party. And I remember I had like a very non-angry moment. I was like, that makes total sense. But also go fuck yourself. Like it was, and so then I had this moment where I was like, okay, sure, it's your job to deliver that information, but it's the job of artists to not let that become part of the conversation. So I think you have to believe that the best work that you can make that's the most honest and sounds the most authentic to you is going to be your most successful work. And if you believe anything else, then there's a million booby traps all over the place.
I was really struck last week. On Thursdays we have like anniversary guests. So like Taking Back Sunday was a formative band for me, and one of their albums just turned 15. I was asking them, I was like, like nowadays when I talk to newer artists, it's all about how do we make this go viral, or how do I incorporate a dance, or et cetera, et cetera. And I asked them, back in the day, was there any conversation about like titling songs a certain way so LimeWire would suck it up? And they were like, dude, all we thought it was playing shows. Like we didn't worry about anything like that. And I thought that inverse was kind of interesting, where a lot of newer artists are almost marketing first and marketers first and artists second. And again, like to your point, which I think is really awesome, you take that stance of like, it's not inherently bad, it's just different.
It's how you use it. I mean, like, but then there'll be a flip, like I think we're going to enter this phase where live music is sort of God again. And then if you'd spent your time marketing yourself, but not, getting your chops right so you could fucking murder it live, then maybe, you feel it. You feel people just going back to, look, the future's here and it's boring, right? No one right now wants to sit home and order Postmates and watch Netflix. People want to go out and do things because all that real stuff was taken away. So we'll probably enter a phase of a lot of real things, and the algorithms might not work as well because people change. And I don't know. To me, it's just like there's always something that is like ruining the music industry, and then at the end of the day, every artist has the power to just sort of not give a shit and make their work.
Well, you were actually a part of this documentary. I work at MTV during the day, and so we all got together like last September after the VMAs, and there was this I Want My MTV documentary that came out. And I think you open it. You have prime real estate in the doc.
No one sent it to me, but every once in a while, someone's like, "I saw you in that thing." I'm like, "I want to see it."
Yeah, but like MTV was something, to your point that you're talking about right now, that came along in the early '80s, where like I don't know how you feel, but I love music video. But there was a generation of artists that were just like, well, we're not making videos. But then like you take a Duran Duran, you take any of those like new wave acts, they championed it, and they went on to have
the conversation we have about algorithms. There was a time when people were like, I'm not some fucking movie star, I'm not making a music video, and then we figured it out. We figured out that a music video didn't have to be like you putting on makeup and looking like hot to sell your records, that it could just be an extension of your art. And I don't see streaming much different than I saw Tower Records or, pressing plants of 45 vinyls in like 1960. It's just like, it's the way shit gets out there, and commerce is baked in. So there's going to be some bullshit, but it's just how people hear things.